It's another week of collage. I'm still feeling a bit red, and I still want to play with some transparencies. The good news, I don't know if anybody noticed, I got my little finger X-Acto back. I found it. It was hiding in a very safe place. You know how that goes. You put something away thinking this is the best place ever, and it wasn't. I was using a regular X-Acto knife. I really missed this, so glad it's back. Welcome back to the channel, little X-Acto knife guy. So she's going to be my focal point. I also went through my Grey's Anatomy. I think that will make a lovely addition to this new person we are going to create. I also want to maybe incorporate this green because it's a nice contrast to the red. Maybe using this ring thing. I don't know what this is, but it's cool looking and I think I want to use it. Possibly text because we love text now. And this, I want to use it as a transparency. I'm thinking of doing some very careful cuts with the tape to work with this so we don't have any weird lines or creases or whatever. We'll see what happens and see what we create. I'm trying something a little different in regards to creating the transparency. So I have wax paper here and I'm using a Sharpie to trace around the image. I'm doing this because I am trying to avoid the lines that can be created when I make a larger transparency because I'm limited by the width of the tape that I am using. So I'm creating a template with the wax paper and using it to guide the cuts. It doesn't have to be super exact because the tape will cover up a lot of this part. So I'm focusing on this horn for our skull. And here I got the cut. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm just kind of thinking this out. I've done something similar before with this, but I'm trying to just make it look a little neater. So I'm putting the tape now onto the wax paper, away from the template for now, the drawing that I want to cut out. I think this is the direction I want to go. I'm not 100% sure. I'm learning along with you guys what it is that's going to work or not. Do I put the tape on here and then cut? I don't really want the ink on it. Of course, I could just cut here directly on and have this. That's not going to work. I don't think that's going to work. Okay, may not use that piece because it may have the wax on it. Another piece. See, it just about covers that horn. Just about, not quite. But it's easy enough to pull up. Let's see how this works. So this was a careful cut. It is actually now a problem because the adhesive is attached to the wax paper. And today I have nails, so I could spend a lot of time now releasing the tape to put on to the image. I think that's just going to be too much. So kind of not in the mood for that right now. I need to sort out how I will be approaching transparencies in the future, especially when I want to make larger ones without lines or anything else. So I'm just going to be cognizant of where I am placing the tape, kind of measuring it out, get a nice clean piece here, and I'm laying it here, should cover most of that horn. Okay, there's a little gap I'm missing there, but it's all right. I think I'll figure it out. It's still, I'm in the stages where I'm learning here. I'm learning right along with everyone else. I want a nice transparency in this region, so I certainly want a good piece of tape without any lines right in the middle. So I'm going to make sure I have that. Just plotting out what I would like to do with this image. I'm putting it on top of this watercolor paper only because I want you guys to be able to see what I am doing. I need to get a new cutting board. My cutting board, talk about lines and such, my cutting board is really hurting. So I need to get on that. I am going to do this. I don't want a line in the middle of the skull. I'm going to put a little, I need to overlap a little bit because it'll fall apart when I make the transparency. It'll not be connected. You can still connect it together, but I don't want to ruin it that way. I won't ruin it. It'll be what it will be. It's rarely a fail. Sometimes it is, but I'm still so much into the experimenting stage with transparencies. I just want to impart what I'm learning to everybody else. Let's see how this is going to turn out. A lot of delicate cutting with a transparency. These came out pretty nicely, a little bit more rubbing there than I would have liked. Again, nothing to worry about. But all in all, this cow skull came out pretty nice. It's falling into my plan. I did leave a bit of a black border around the bones. Transparencies, when they are light like this, can be challenging, but then you can also get something like this. This was a white outfit on this model, and the glow is lovely. So it's something I'm going to try to accomplish here, but not with a map. I don't think so anyway. Our model, cut her out very, very carefully. There's a little bit here I think I may have missed. And actually, this is a little challenging cutting her out. I probably should have used an X-Acto knife, but the scissors are just much more easier. This is where I run into trouble when you only have smaller pieces that don't overlap of the tape. You get something like this where it actually starts to come apart a bit. I'm glad that the arms, that I kept them in one piece of tape. When you're working with packing tape, this can be a little bit of a problem. It's definitely not the end of the world. Here's an air bubble. Air bubble, so be it, but there won't be anything there. So know when there's an air bubble, chances are, if you don't burnish it out, it's going to just leave a little gap in the image. However, I did scrub away a lot of the black ink on the dress. Not thrilled about the scratchy look of it, but again, just experimenting and seeing what I can do with the tape. I am ready to try another source for transparency, maybe clear contact paper, maybe something else, not sure. But I am pleased with how she came out. I love the red. It's really delicate. Now what I wanted to do was overlap. I wanted the skull and be able to see her face perhaps through it. If I do that, I'm going to have to do a lot more scrubbing on the back of the skull. Do I want to do that? I don't know. Maybe we're not going to be able to use her face. So I might actually cut this because, I mean, that's gorgeous. I love the way that came out. Really love the contemporary paper, the contemporary images with transparencies. So I have a general idea how this collage is going to come together. I think we shall commence. This is when collage can be a bit of a challenge, only because I am in the process of maybe eliminating something. I think I want to keep her for sure. I will keep her because she just fits. She's at home here. Just the way the background is accommodating her posture alone means she's going to stay in. I wanted to put this in. I thought about putting it here. But I kind of like what's going on here in this quadrant with the text. I am actually considering not using the skull. I think it might be too much. I mean, it's funny, but I do want to keep it on the picture plane, and then I, of course, lose that beautiful transparency with the face. So this may go, but maybe not. I added one little square pattern. Thought about this text, but where am I going to put it? I mean, I could put it under her dress. However, the thing that's going on with her dress is this Grey's Anatomy spinal cord, and I want to play with it. I've been playing with it. I thought about upside down with the spinal cord, it being very delicate and see-through, transparent. This way, maybe. But I also thought about putting it on top, and it's almost too much. I think it takes away from the transparency with it being on top. So I think it needs to go underneath, but I'm not sure if I want to do it the right way, the way the spine is supposed to be, or if I want to turn it upside down and make it different. So it just tapers down to the lower part, just a hint of the spine. It definitely reads as a spine. That's why I wanted this to correspond with the bones. I still think I want to use these flowers to indicate her femininity. Do I want to cut any more into the transparency? I think I may just leave that alone. So does it work? On this background, I mean, it's a background we created, so it's kind of cool. I do have some little gaps of white here. That's, again, it's not a bad thing. You may want that to balance out, or we can fill it in with just a touch more text. I could do something like that if I want to. If I did that, probably want to cut this extraneous white space. It's not really needed. And so it's just a touch of text, but does it matter? Does it make a difference? You can always tuck it underneath. I think we can tuck it underneath. I used double-edged tape to put everything together. I like that because it actually helps me shift things around, and it's not ideal to pull things up after it's been adhered to a surface, but I think in this case we'll be all right. Maybe this cut off a little bit, or we may want to turn it around like this. The nice thing about these colors in this image, they correspond with the flowers. So we have a lot of interesting color going on here. Maybe something like that, because we have squares over here, so we're having a little bit of balance. I like how this sun image kind of corresponds with the flowers that we would like to use. Then as we get lower to the bottom, there isn't very much, but it's still interesting to look at. I thought maybe something like this. We don't need to go overboard with the text or even with any more imagery. I'll go ahead and maybe cut this down. And is it applicable, and is it going to help me name my project? I think I'm going to call it Ophelia, because why not? Ophelia from Hamlet. And I actually thought about that when I was doing the transparency for her and she was in the water, and I'm like, Ophelia, so I might do that. So this doesn't really, it's not, I don't have to have the text. And here we have text. See, I thought something like that, but I don't know if you really need it. It's almost like you're bombarding. I think I want something down here because it might offer some more balance, because there's a lot of action going on up here, but there's action here also, but in the form of the spinal cord underneath the transparency. So I think I'm going to play around with it a little bit more and see what she does or doesn't need.